Oh no, what's going on here? This isn't Moz car. What? I haven't seen these. Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This vehicle, it's here for a trip, pre-vehicle trip inspection. It's actually coming on a trip with us. Well, might not be now. We'll see about this. I don't remember seeing it with aftermarket steel rims and 33-inch mud tyres. Now look, each to their own, and these are probably good for a day trip. And in my experience, the most reliable tyres are the KO2s. You don't have to use KO2s on the trip, and you don't have to take my advice. But on our trips, if there's a failure that causes longer than probably half an hour delay, the whole convoy and the whole trip can't stop for one vehicle, if you know what I mean. So we'll help out as much as we can. We'll send help. You need to have your RAC, VRAC, NRMA, RACQ, whatever you've got, top level of cover so you can get your towing, because your towing is your main thing, and of course that'll also cover some accommodation, taxis and whatever. So this is like an ad for RAC now, unbelievable. Anyway, what this vehicle's here is for a vehicle inspection, and literally I walked in the door and I'm like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And if it was on a trip since, last thing I remember seeing on this was genuine wheels and KO2s. I've been told they were getting a bit old and deteriorated, but to be quite honest, reliability of the genuine wheels with it. Look, what you got to understand is, see down here on the steel rims, the genuine wheels, they centralise over that hub, both front and rear, with the original setup, and the wheel nuts are flat and they just hold the wheel in, okay? Where here, you've got a tapered nut setup. Look, you can see the gap between the steel rims. So you can't, that's why people talk about balancing issues and wobble and stuff like that, because, you know, it may or may not work. Look, it probably works okay, but that's not the original design. What happens is, studs can get sheared off. It happens, you know, I shouldn't say too often, but often enough, and we've seen that on trips where people lose wheel studs with aftermarket wheels. Not with genuine wheels, with aftermarket wheels. So just beware. The torque specification varies. The torque spec is for the flat original wheel nuts, but it does vary from 113 newton meters in some of the manuals on the Protos. I think I've seen 108. It varies a little bit here and there. Generally, 110 newton meters is what we use, and we have no issues with that. And I've seen tyre shops, they use 120. A lot of tyre shops use 100, 120. And if they do that regularly, then I guess they don't have any issues with that. So we're there in the middle, and we're close to what the book says. This isn't all about wheels or tyres. We're doing a pre-trip inspection, but I just thought I'd put it out there. That's the first thing I saw where I went, this looks like a vehicle that's going to Wombat State Forest for a day trip, not a vehicle that's going on a 10,000 kilometre Outback Australia trip. Here, it is really an awesome vehicle, I've got to say, nice and clean. It's an 08, I think it's an 08. Is this an 08? An 08 120, I believe. What's that? 09. 09. Last of the best of the 120s, right? It's really clean. It's only done 160,000 Ks. What a beast, right? Check that out, right? Here we go. You can see not long ago, the timing belt and the date and the kilometres there. So we're having a look around here. It's got quite a bit of aftermarket wiring and accessories, as you can see. It's got the winch down here, but you can see what someone's done. We'll just say someone, because it could be multiple people done this, but what they've done is there's quite a lot of corrugated split tubing. There's a lot of zip ties, a lot of things. The wiring, you know, it's pretty good, you know. I mean, it could be better, but the thing is, it's good enough, especially if it's got lots of corrugated split tubing, lots of zip ties, so the wires can't rub through anywhere and short out. You can see plenty of fuses and stuff like that in the right place. Corrugated split tubing, you know where it goes under there. We're going to check lots of things on the vehicle, top to bottom, battery security, all the wiring. One of the biggest causes of failures on these vehicles, particularly on trips, is all the aftermarket stuff, aftermarket accessories and wiring. So the old thing, less is more. Might have to put this video on 4x4 Adventures as well, actually. We'll see how that works out, because I haven't got time to do two. But okay, so we've got some wiring going up here, because this is really important for people that are going to travel. If you're not aware, this sort of stuff we normally put on our other YouTube channel, 4x4 Adventures, spelt like 4x4 Diesel. Anyway, brake fluid, this is 160k service, yeah? 180, yeah. So the brake fluid would already be done then, would have got done. Hang on, is that right? 160 or 180? We need to work it out. Yeah, I already said that, didn't I? We already knew it done 160k. So the brake fluid will be getting changed as part of this service, I believe, okay? Every 40,000 Ks is a more major service, so the air filter will be checked and cleaned if necessary. on a trip, you should carry spare filters. This is what I want to include in this video. So you should have a spare air filter, maybe even more than one, depends how close you're going to drive behind the person in front of you and how much dust you want to suck up. Maybe a spare cabin filter that's inside. Spare fuel filters. You've got the standard underbonnet fuel filter there and another one underneath the vehicle near the tail shaft. The one at the tail shaft gets changed every 20,000 Ks. Just stick to that and always carry a spare. The one under the bonnet here, just yesterday we had one of our VIP clients contact us with the fuel light came on. Basically there's a pressure sensor on the top there and it came on. That means time to change the fuel filter. Could happen any time. So on a trip you want to make sure you've got both fuel filters spare because the rear one can cause problems with a fuel transfer issue. And this one, if it gets blocked, bad fuel. So that's why you want to carry it on a trip. And if you don't use it on the trip, when you get back from the trip, that's when you change this fuel filter, okay? The one under the tail shaft, every 20,000 Ks, just stick to that unless you know you've had bad fuel. This air filter here, you know, you're gonna need to, you know, there's a hole there. When you can see it, you know, see the pink? See that pink there? That's your indicator. You don't need, on a trip, when this is covered in dust and everything, you don't really want to be opening it up unnecessarily. You want to go by that pink is your guide. You may need to clean it, but often when I see people pull these things out on trips, not in our groups or in our cars, but they wonder why they have problems. They pull it out, they're trying to blow it with their little compressors, you know. The little compressor it's not really good for that. You need a big tank, and there's all dust and dirt and everything getting put on the clean side of the filter, and it just doesn't look good to me, you know, and the box is open and the dust and bugs and that going everywhere. Anyway, this is a 160K 120. There's not going to be much to see here. We have worked on it before. All the injectors are done, the BFE's done, all that sort of prevention. There's going to be no issues there. We're going to have a look around underneath the vehicle and see if there's anything important that we can find. Oh, what's going on here? We've got some bananas in the bin, mate. What's going on here? Are these going in the bin? Are they really that bad? Are people, oh no, look what I've done. Okay, this is awesome. Okay, but you know, it's a bit of a waste. There's still people out there that think my information's dangerous. So somebody will buy these. What I'm going to do, if everybody doesn't mind, I'm going to take these out of the bin, back to the Prada Hospital, and I'm going to put another whole separate video on these, and somebody can have them cheap. I've got to spend the time. I'm going to sell them. How much are they? A couple $100 new? 50 bucks. There you go. A slab. There you go. You can have them for a slab. So payment, postage, how heavy are they? Let me see here. What are they there? Stay tuned, subscribe, turn the bell on. They're way about what? Kilo or two, it's probably 2 kilos, 4 kilos, 5 kilo bag. It's going to cost 30 bucks. So they're going to be 80 bucks delivered to your door. Anyway, back to the job. Look at that brake fluid, right? The old stuff was a bit murky, dirty and blue. This is what you get from these guys here at the Sunshine Prada Hospital. #1 4x4 diesel workshop partner. Look at that brake fluid, it's beautiful. It just makes you want to go for a swim in it, doesn't it? Anyway, that's not it. You don't just change it in the reservoir. It's been sucked out, refilled. Now the brakes need to be bled, and that's a whole separate procedure which won't be included in this video. But stay tuned, subscribe, turn the bell on. It might eventually happen, but brakes are a matter of life and death, and if you don't know about them and you can't figure it out, it's probably something you shouldn't be doing it. Take it to a professional, and good luck finding one of them. That's why you just bring it down here to the Sunshine Prada Hospital. Of course, we got other people, a few other workshop partners that we highly recommend. Just having a bit of a look around. Look at this, guys, 160K. Now I'm just going to be quiet. Everyone will be quiet so we can hear the play in this wheel bearing at 160K. Struggling to get it to happen now, aren't we? Hard to demonstrate. I'll go for it. So it's the inner rack end that's got some wear and some play in it. Okay, which is up inside that boot there. It's not actually the wheel bearing. It's just if you go on top bottom and you're not dead square, slide a bit to the side and you'll get a little bit of the movement from here. So when you're checking your wheel bearings, guys, just probably do the side to side first to make sure you're not going to get it, you know, see if there's play in here first, and then, you know, if you've got some play here, you need to be really square at 6 and 12 to make sure there's no play in the wheel bearing. About this one, mate, is let me have a feel. Hardly anything. You wouldn't touch that one. No, that's good. Nothing in the wheel bearing. Nope. The usual sweat on the boot. Don't worry about that. Let's have a quick look underneath and see what we can see at 160K. It's not going to be much. He's taken off the K-on bash plate. Just so you know, this is the upgraded K-on for the front of whatever ARB bull bar. This is the 120. More airflow, which is good. the plate goes in first, this plate goes in first, and the other underbody protection goes over the top of that, because I noticed in a few posts people had it around the wrong way. Just letting you know what's going on. I don't know who installed it, doesn't matter, but look, bone dry up there, no oil leaks. Just looking at the auto cooler hose, zip tied together, not bad, but if I was zip tying two hoses together, I'd put the corrugated split tubing on this one as well, so they're corrugated against corrugated instead of corrugated against the rubber hose. So that's one of the first things. I'll have a look around before I get hit in the head by a sway bar, because that's coming off. You know, change the front springs to something a little bit more heavy. Look, the usual small amount of oil coming out that transfer case input seal. Again, it's not a mess, it's not a leak. It's probably 5 mil a year, so in my opinion, not worth rectifying at that stage. Maybe just a quick clean up every now and then to monitor the situation. Auto pan, everything looks good. Turbo looks good. So what's going to let us down on the trip? What's going to fall off? Okay, good question. Aftermarket stuff, okay? It's no longer Toyota certified reliability. So you need to make sure all your aftermarket stuff, all your nuts and bolts, like these ones here even, that one, are up to the correct F-type torque specification, because things like this is what vibrates loose. It's even worth putting Loctite on things like this, right? Because things vibrate loose on lots of corrugation. So there's your tip. Lots of information in this video. I wouldn't be going anywhere yet. We could still come up with something else. Rear fuel tank looks good. Airbags are in there. You know, I'm not a big fan of airbags, but they do the job, and even if they leak or fail, you've still got springs there. So that's, you know, that's a different system to a vehicle sitting on airbags. Vehicle sitting on airbags, in my opinion, sort of minimal modifications, or get them out of there. Rear pads, they've got enough left for a highway trip. No problem there. Just get a bit size. Yeah, they've got about 40% left. DIY diff oil change recently. All right, could probably do with a bit more of a cleanup, but no big deal. Yeah, these big tyres. Different offset too by the looks of it. They're sitting out a bit more, yeah. So I don't know how that'll go with the wheel bearings long term. Toyota engineering come up with the offsets for a reason. I don't like to change it, but you know, I understand reasons why people do. This fuel filler hose, has that been changed before yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, let me see, because I don't know. Yeah, that's rock hard, so let's change that as prevention. We don't need that. I don't think it's going to start leaking anytime soon, because generally they don't leak even though they're rock hard, but some do, and when they do, that's when things get messy. Just looking around up here, airbags, yeah, there's nothing down the back of the vehicle that's going to let it down. That fuel filter, that's the one we're talking about under the tail shaft area. We're going to carry a spare. It's getting changed now anyway, 160k service, and a spare will be carried on the trip for just in case. All these bolts really need to be double checked for torque specification. Got a bit of the state forest in there. All these bolts, just double check them. These hang up, this is the hang ups here, these things here. Hang up mounting protectors, see, because what happens, they get bent, burred over, and then you can't get your bolts off. So these are from K-On as well. So you order those when you get your underbody protection. Have a quick look at these bushes in the arms. Again, it's not going to stop it on a trip anyway, but they're in pretty good condition. They're only just starting to split. Front one's usual sort of twist, but looking okay. You're going to see a mirror image over here. See, barely even starting to split right up that top, you know, top end, but they look pretty good. So you don't need to worry about lower arms for a long time, mate. Just saved you $2 grand. Yeah, so the inner rack end movement at this end, not too bad. It's not going to get done before the trip, but at some stage down the track, we'll monitor the situation with the play in that. It's only a little bit, but it's something that could get done. And while you're at it, I like to do the inner rack end and put a new boot and new clips while you're at it, since it's coming off. Gives you an opportunity to have a look at how bad that leak is there as well, because that's just coming past the seals. It's quite common. Once again, I'll say it again, not worth fixing. Oh, it's a banana. We got some bananas up here. Bananas in pajamas. Anyway, we'll move on from that. I don't want to talk about bananas too much. Right, so double check all these bolts of all the aftermarket stuff. All the factory stuff will be all right, unless it's been taken off before. I can't see anything else here, so I reckon that's a video. It's good that these shock guards are in place. because the rocks do belt the hell out of the shockers, and particularly that bottom bolt. And sometimes if you do a lot of outback travel, there's not a lot left of that bottom bolt to get it off next time. So these are the older design. I think on the 120s, this is all that's available still. On the nothing wrong with it, but on the 150, they've got the new design. It's a little bit different to this, but happy days. All right, I'm happy with this. If I think of anything else, I'll put in the video. If I don't, thanks for watching. Smash the like button if you learnt something. Subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss the next one.